Hey guys, it's Phil the MMA Dude back with the Split Decision Podcast, episode number 126, here with my always brilliant co-host, the Fight Geek. Fight Geek, how you doing tonight, bro?
Doing pretty good, man. Happy to be back talking fights with you. How you doing?
Doing very well. So, folks, we've got a lot to discuss tonight. I thought it was a really fun weekend of fights. Here's what's on tap. First and foremost, I'm going to start with my opening question for Fight Geek. After that, we're going to jump into a recap and review of UFC Fight Night 49, Makhachev versus Green, which I actually thought was a surprisingly excellent UFC Fight Night. After that, we're going to do a really quick recap, of Bellator 275, Mousasi versus Vanderford. And then we're moving on to our preview and picks of UFC 272, Masvidal versus Covington. After that, it's my favorite section of all, listener questions and more. Wow, Fight Geek, I am losing my voice.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. I'm losing my voice so much. But we've got a lot to discuss, so much to discuss. And I want to start off the episode right now, Fight Geek, with this question for you. So Dana White recently said that he was not ruling out Conor McGregor getting a title shot when he returns. It's believed to be in the early second half of this year, right? So July, August or so. My question for you is simple. Obviously, we've got Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje coming up. My question is, the winner of Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira, are they going to fight Islam Makhachev or Conor McGregor? And who do you think they should? So, two questions. Who do you think they should fight, and who will they fight?
Unfortunately, I think they're going to fight Conor McGregor. I think
really?
What you're seeing here is the UFC understands that they may only have one more opportunity to capitalize on who Conor McGregor, used to be, and rushing him into one more title shot. Because imagine Conor coming back from this, pretty significant injury and getting beat again by someone who's not Dustin Poirier. That really hurts his opportunity, and they never get a chance to capitalize on Conor again. So I think they're kind of having a knee-jerk reaction to his injury and kind of his career in a slide, and are just hoping they can go to the well one more time with Conor McGregor, put on one more important fight, and hopefully have, $1 million pay-per-view.
Okay, I'm going to be honest, Fight Geek. I'm really surprised to hear you say that because, my first thought is McGregor's 1-3 in his last 4 MMA fights.
I'm not saying he deserves it. I'm saying the UFC is trying to get as much out of the asset that is Conor McGregor as possible. If you put him in there with Beneil Dariush, and Beneil Dariush submits Conor McGregor, there is absolutely no more opportunity to market Conor McGregor as a title challenger. So what they're going to do is they're going to force him down our throat into a fight coming off of a ton of controversy so that they have the opportunity to put Conor in a title fight on, as an A-list superstar one more time, because if he has to do that on merit, they don't believe he can anymore, much like I don't.
I understand what you're saying, Fight Geek, but here's my question for you. Why can't they just make McGregor versus Diaz 3 have that headline a pay-per-view?
Because what if Nate Diaz, who has not had a great run of late, was beat up?
That's fine. That's good for them. They
was
want
beat up
Conor
by-
to win. That's good. That's
What
good
I'm
for
saying
the
is
UFC.
if Nate Diaz beats Conor, that damages the brand as well. Again, Nate Diaz is on the last fight of his contract. You don't want to let Nate Diaz walk out of his contract after beating Conor McGregor and go fight Jake Paul for $15 million.
Well, that is an excellent point.
Can you imagine if Nate Diaz gets to leave the UFC after beating Conor McGregor in a trilogy, going 2 for 3 against him, arguably 3 and 3 against him, and then having the opportunity to market himself to high school kids on YouTube?
Hold on.
Exactly
I'm not
Nate
even
Diaz
a big McGregor stan at all, but he won that second fight fair and square. Come on.
He eked it out.
Yeah, he eked it out, but he won it. Absolutely.
He got stopped in the first fight.
That's true. That's all true.
He eked out the last one, and he's been stopped in his last 2 fights. So
yeah,
I think if Nate Diaz had a win anywhere on the board at this point in his career, it's probably Conor McGregor.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So again, I
Okay.
think the UFC doesn't want to play with fire. They know that Conor McGregor is at the end of his, the end of his leash, and they can run him back in a title shot one more time versus a fresh opponent in either guy. I think they're absolutely going to do that, especially considering Islam, who looks to be the rightful next number one contender. He's going to destroy anyone they put in his path. He's just getting started with his dominance, and I think the UFC sees that as well and knows that they can long play Makhachev. He's not an overly boisterous guy. He doesn't make any demands outside of Ali.
Hold on, hold on. I'm playing
Twitter.
devil's advocate. Devil's advocate, Fight Geek. Don't you think that they want to give Makhachev a title shot and potentially have Islam have the belt? Then you do McGregor versus Khabib's protege. That's
I think
what
they
you do for the
understand that
title
Conor
shot.
has zero chance in that at this point.
It doesn't matter. You like we're
At
talking
least
about. It's all about
Oliveira
it's all
gets
about
hit
giving
in
him
the
one more
first round.
opportunity.
That's the intrigue. With Conor McGregor versus Charles Oliveira, Conor McGregor versus Justin Gaethje, you can squint your eyes and talk yourself into Conor having an opportunity.
Oh,
to
I
win
think
because
both fighters
of those
beat
guys
him.
get
I think
hit.
both fighters beat him.
Obviously, but what I'm saying is the UFC is trying to think of a match they can sell to us.
Right.
They can sell Conor McGregor versus Justin Gaethje and say, oh, Conor has a big left hand and Gaethje gets hit a lot. He could catch him in the first round. Or with Charles Oliveira, the same thing. He gets hit a lot in the first round. Conor could have a chance. There is zero chance Conor McGregor beats Islam Makhachev. Zero.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, but okay. I mean,
Islam beats Conor McGregor in 3 minutes.
I think Charles beats Conor easily
I'm
at
saying
this point.
you're not
I think
listening.
Justin.
I'm saying all three beat him, but you can
I'm
only
listening,
market
I'm
two
listening.
of those fights.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Okay, all right.
It's an entertainment. It's about entertainment.
So you think McGregor is going to get the next title shot off the winner of Charles versus Justin, despite being 0-2 at 155 last year? 0-2.
I do. I just explained why. I think they're trying to recoup as much financially as they can from the Conor McGregor era as they can.
He's going to sell pay-per-views with or without a title shot, Fight Geek. He doesn't need the title shot to sell.
Well, they would prefer Conor McGregor as the belt holder, so they're going to go to that well one more time.
He's not going to beat Charles or Justin.
I mean, he has the best chance against Charles of all three, in my opinion.
I don't know about. I really don't know about.
Charles has been knocked down in the first round.
Of course he has.
His last fights.
Tony Ferguson got knocked down every fight during his whole run.
Yeah, but if Conor's going to have a shot, he's going to need someone he can hit. Charles gets hit. Islam Makhachev gets hit less than any fighter in the history of UFC.
I'm aware. Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay, so Fight Geek is officially guessing that Islam will get screwed over and McGregor's going to steal that title shot.
Well, we just saw this last week that Islam is so game that he would have took the RDA fight, I'm assuming.
Well, he didn't. I actually don't know what happened with that. Interesting you bring that up.
Well, nobody does. It's all speculation. But Islam's not a guy who's running from anything. I'm sure that if it plays out that way, Islam will take another top contender. I mean, actually, Islam still kind of needs a top contender, to be honest. But I think his level of dominance, the physical form and shape he's in now, kind of the fact that he has Khabib in his corner and just he has kind of a perfect storm, kind of make it clear that he's the number one contender. But he technically hasn't beaten anyone to prove that.
Okay, all right. So listen, on that note, we're gonna transition to a quick recap and review of UFC Fight Night 49, Makhachev versus Green. Which, by the way, that was one of the recent fight nights that I actually did sit through the whole thing, and I was actually I was pleasantly surprised. I thought the fights overall were pretty good.
I just think you're exposing yourself as a casual.
Oh, because every single weekend I'm not seeing them
watching all the fights.
Not watching all the fights live.
So
live. No, what you didn't say is live. I absolutely. To be clear, I absolutely watch every fight. Not always live, but this weekend
I thought it was a good card, but it wasn't.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so let's start.
There was nothing overly memorable about it.
All right, well, let's start off with the main event: Islam Makhachev defeating Bobby Green. 3 minutes and 23 seconds into round number 1 via ground and pound. I mean, what more to say about Islam? I mean, 22-1.
I mean, yeah, this was a little bit of a disappointing performance by Bobby Green.
He was cutting weight last minute.
Say again?
He was cutting weight last minute.
He was cutting weight last minute, but don't take this opportunity if you don't think that you can put yourself in a position to capitalize. He just kind of, with all the momentum he had, I left thinking that Bobby Green will never have an opportunity to be a truly elite top 5 fighter, and I think he really kiboshed his momentum. He was looking good. He should have just taken an opportunity to fight a top 15 guy on his own terms. Instead, he jumped up. He had zero chance of winning this fight. Bobby Green's not even a big one-shot knockout puncher, so how was he ever going to knock out Islam coming in? That was never going to work, especially on short notice. I was really disappointed with Bobby Green's.
All right. Listen, I don't really disagree with anything you said, but you're being really, really harsh on Bobby, and here's why.
Well, I feel
Islam is the future champ.
I do about Austin Vanderford. I just don't feel like
we'll get to Mousasi Vanderford. Let's not jump ahead.
So, long story short, Islam looked unbelievable. Physically, he's developing in a way that I don't think Khabib ever did. He's going to be the more powerful fighter almost every single time he's in there. Extremely athletic. Super impressed with him, but I was just, again, looking for more of a test for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, Benny Darius, broke his fibula or his tibula or whatever he says. I just know that he was a jerk at UFC.
I mean, I really think Islam versus Michael Chandler is the fight, because at least Michael Chandler has the defensive wrestling and the ability to keep it standing in some exchanges.
Okay. I mean, to me, I understand the people that say that Islam needs another fight before the title fight. I just think it's a little pedantic, frankly. Myself, I think
Tony Ferguson had to win 12 fights and never got in a row and never got a title shot. So it's not
sure, but that's it. That you're using that woulda, coulda, what aboutisms. You're using what aboutisms
before he got his title shot.
Sorry, who?
Wasn't Khabib 9-0 before he got his title shot?
Yeah, I mean, who do you want to see Islam fight? You said Michael Chandler. Come on.
Yes, I think Michael Chandler.
You really think Michael Chandler has a shot? You think Michael Chandler has a shot against Islam for real? Come on.
No, but Michael Chandler has proven that he is the barometer of the top 3, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a whole different thing, though.
Yeah, Bobby Green's the barometer of if you're top 20.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's fair. All right, moving on.
I'm on fire tonight, huh?
Huh?
Said I'm on fire tonight.
You're on fire. You're fired up. I don't know if you're on fire. You're fired up, that's for sure. But that's a good thing,
sleep deprivation.
Too. All right. Okay. Oh, what is Fight Geek Jr. keeping you guys up?
We're adjusting, but yeah, it's not getting my usual sleep. Let's just put it that way.
Everyone who's catching late, Fight Geek recently had a baby, Fight Geek Jr. That's the official name, by the way. So
2 months.
Yeah.
We're figuring it out.
Okay. All right. Wellington Turman got a armbar submission against Misha Serkinov at 1 minute and 29 seconds of round number 2, which was really impressive because I actually thought Misha Serkinov was dominating this middleweight fight until that armbar submission. But hats off to Wellington. I thought it was an extremely clever submission.
I thought it was kind of a sloppy fight, back and forth.
Definitely,
Don't really think it warrants much analysis.
That's fair. I think there's not too much to say either. Okay.
All right. So Cachoeira versus Kim. This was a robbery, huh?
Okay, hold on. We gotta. Yes, but I'm going to a specific. Okay, so my man Zan Bando, love this guy. Guys, be sure to give Zan Bando a follow. That's at Zan Bando 99. He is an MMA journalist from the University of Illinois Graduate School. He says, "Hey fellas. Happy UFC 272 fight week. Here are my questions." And the first one is what's super relevant. 1, was the UFC Vegas 49 decision between Kim and Cachoeira the worst decision in UFC history? And if not, what was worse than that? And then second question, what is the best 3-leg parlay that will surely cash this weekend? Okay, we'll get to that. But first, was it the worst decision that you've ever seen? Because Fight Geek, I thought it was the worst decision I've ever seen.
In UFC?
I thought Kim won 3 rounds to 0. 3-0, Kim.
I thought it was 2-1, Kim. I don't think it's the worst decision ever. The worst decision ever that comes to my mind is Tim Bradley over Manny Pacquiao. But that's
Wait. No.
opinion.
MMA, though. UFC.
Well, I'm just thinking of the one that comes to mind. MMA.
What about, you didn't even, if you're gonna include boxing.
Hendricks and GSP.
Wait, if you're gonna include boxing, what about Canelo versus Triple G1?
That's pretty bad. That's
Okay,
pretty
so
bad. Yeah, boxing, there's a ton of them, but MMA, I would say GSP over Hendricks.
oh, you thought it was that bad? Oh, come on, it was a super
mean?
close fight.
It was a super close fight, but it was definitely a fight I thought that
But
Johnny
Kim,
Hendricks.
I think Kim dominated Cachoeira.
Bill, if you're gonna edit my picks, go ahead. What are yours?
What do you mean? I'm saying I think Kim Cachoeira is the worst one.
Ever?
Yes, because
In the
I'm
history
telling
of
you,
the- in the
Kim
history.
won 3-0, bro.
I think Henry Cejudo over DJ is a worse decision than
Oh,
this.
get out of here. Cejudo won that fight. It was close, but Cejudo
No,
won.
he didn't win that fight. Get
Yes,
real.
he did. Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
We totally disagree. I completely think Cejudo won that fight, by the way. Completely.
You're wrong.
All right, let's move on to a fight that I was frankly stunned by. Arman Sarukian defeating Joel Alvarez. Joel Alvarez was 19-2 coming into this fight, by the way. And Arman Sarukian won via TKO ground and pound at 1 minute and 57 seconds of round number 2. Just an incredible performance from Arman Sarukian. Climbs to 18-2. What to make of this guy? What do you think of Sarukian? I'm just in awe, personally.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple 155 prospects, and we'll get to another one here shortly, that are just really looking unbelievable. Arman Sarkarian is obviously the top of the heap, going to be in the top 20 or 15 very soon. Dangerous guy, powerhouse, made short work of another really talented prospect. I mean, what do you want me to say? The guy's he's on the short list of the best prospects in the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll say this. So I remember watching UFC on ESPN7. It was Overeem versus Olenek, which was not a great fight night. But I remember it had Islam Makhachev versus Arman Sarukian. And Islam won, but he won a decision. Not only did he win a decision, it was kind of a fight. I believe that Arman won at least one round on every judge's scorecard. I'd have to double check that, but I mean, he definitely won a round in my book in that fight.
Yeah, for sure.
And I remember that's why I kind of thought that Islam Makhachev maybe wasn't all that good. Well, in hindsight, of course, I was insane, but now I see why, right? I didn't realize how good Sarukian is.
Yes, he'll be a top 10 mainstay for years to come, I would imagine.
Yeah, so now it all makes sense. But that's why I initially, really underestimated Islam Makhachev, frankly. So, I don't know.
Yeah, that Islam fight is going to age very well for him, let's just put it that way, because he was competitive in Islam, but has gotten a lot better since then. I truly believe that. Like I said, physically, Islam has really gotten into some amazing shape. He looked unbelievable in this last fight.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so moving on, Armen Petrosyan defeated Gregory Rodriguez via split
This was
decision.
a fun fight. They went back and forth.
Crazy slobber knocker a little bit, right?
Yeah, I like that fight. Thought it was really close, but Rodriguez kind of gassed out. It sputtered out at the end.
Yeah, Ignacio Bahamendez getting the stop against Zhu Rong via submission at 1 minute and 40 seconds of round number 3. That was a fun one.
Yep, this Bahamendez is really exciting. He's
Very
not
exciting.
he's not quite the prospect Arman Sarkarian is, but he's right there as one of the top prospects in the division as well. This guy, he did the wheel kick, knockout of Roosevelt Roberts. I mean, last couple fights, he's looked really good. So more young talent developing in the lightweight division. That's my favorite
Absolutely.
division. So looking forward to seeing those guys in the future.
Yep. We then we had a women's featherweight bout
Hold on,
again.
I got one question.
Go ahead.
What about Ignacio Bahamondes versus Patty Pimblett?
I think that sounds great. I feel like the UFC is very concerned with protecting Patty. Judging by the fights they're sort of making with him, I hope I'm wrong. That sounds like a fun fight, but I think they're protecting Patty.
A bit, I could see that. Okay, let's keep it moving. Another 155 prospect who looked unbelievable, Terrence McKinney. 2-0 in the UFC, I believe. Both impressive performances. Again, lightweight, absolutely stacked with prospects. What do you think of McKinney?
McKinney's been really impressive. Look, I mean, he obviously he got knocked out on the Contender Series, and a lot of people thought that maybe that would break him. He then even lost his next fight.
Yeah, but Deshaun Woodson, who's like a foot taller than him by flying knees. So, I mean...
No, absolutely. I know.
He knocked Matt Frevola out in 7 seconds, and Matt Frevola is the steamroller.
You didn't let me get to it. I was going to say, but he's knocked off 5 consecutive wins, and they weren't just wins. All 5 of them were stoppages. It's incredible. And in the UFC, Matt Frevola, wasn't that the fastest lightweight stoppage in UFC history? It's 7 seconds of round number 1.
Yes. So lightweight division stacked with prospects.
I love it. I think let's watch Terrence McKinney. He's certainly an extremely talented guy. T-Rex. I actually. Look, I don't know the exact details. I remember that he said some sketchy stuff on social media before, but I'm honestly not interested in even going back and learning about it.
You said some sketchy stuff on social media.
I have never said anything controversial even once. Nothing I've ever said has ever been controversial. Okay, the joke's over. But everyone, okay. The point is, I like Terrence. You keep cutting me off. I like Terrence a lot, and I look forward to seeing more of him.
Agreed. All right, Jonathan Martinez got a good win over Alejandro Perez.
Absolutely.
Other than that, you got anything else you want to call out?
The only thing I was going to say is Josiane Nunez defeated Ramona Pascal via unanimous decision at 145. Pascal was a true 145er. Nunez is a bantamweight who just agreed to Pascal on late notice, so she had to fight at 145. Josiane Nunez is really impressive. She's an incredible striker who did serious damage to a far larger opponent, and I'm genuinely interested in where she goes from here. She's 9-1, and she keeps climbing.
But should she change her nickname to the Little Lioness?
What if she fights Amanda, though? She's kind of
Amanda? No, she's way too small for Amanda. Come on.
She's a bantam. What are you talking about? She's a bantamweight normally. Bantamweight.
135, correct?
Well, I mean, this fight was at featherweight, but that's because it was last minute. She's normally a bantamweight.
Yeah, she's not ever going to be fighting Nunes.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. We'll see we'll see.
I feel comfortable saying that.
I mean, okay, all right. We'll see. In any case, are we ready to move on very quickly to Bellator 275, Mousasi versus Vanderford?
Let's do it.
All right, so, guys, one day before Makhachev versus Green, we obviously had Bellator 275, Mousasi versus Vanderford, and Fight Geek, let me just let you open it, frankly. What did you think of that main event? I personally got it wrong. I thought it was going to be a very competitive fight. And yeah, I'll admit it, I even put some money on Austin. And boy, was I wrong. Mousasi whooped his ass.
Strickland, if you thought that Paige Van Zant's wife was going to beat Gegard Mousasi, you probably don't know a lot about MMA.
Oh, my God. You're cool.
So I think that tweet was actually...
The fact that Fight Geek is quoting Sean Strickland, guys, should be a big red flag.
So, yeah, what's there to say? I mean, that was a levels performance. Austin Vanderford is a long ways away from beating a guy like, Gegard Mousasi. I think the wool was pulled over our eyes a little bit with some impressive performances versus much different type of opponents. That's just I was surprised by the lack of fight displayed by Austin Vanderfort in
Man,
an
he was
opportunity
but
like
he
that.
was getting rocked. That's what no one's giving him credit. He was getting hit so clean with his
He got
lazy.
hit clean 3 times, so I guess that's all he's got, huh?
No, but he was doing these lazy fake takedowns. He's feinting these takedowns, and
The
Musasi
fight was like a minute long. He didn't do much of anything.
It was a minute 25 seconds. I'll have you know.
Exactly. So it wasn't like he was repeatedly trying to do anything. I think he made. How many punches did he attempt in the whole fight? 2 and 1 takedown?
He's still going home to Paige Van Zandt in a little floss G-string, so he's a winner in my book.
Your book's lame.
All right. I think my book's
No,
cool.
it was a bad performance. You know, it sucks that we can't see a fight like Gegard versus Robert Whittaker because I think that's probably the most intriguing middleweight fight that there is
That would be so
in the globe today.
That'd be
so
awesome.
Who
would you have? Who would you have in that? Whittaker, Musasi. Who would you have?
I would probably take Rob via, split decision probably.
I'm taking Whittaker, unanimous decision on that.
So, yeah, I think Rob's got a little more youth, maybe a little more, is a little stronger, but that's hard to say because Gegard, even though he doesn't look powerful, was a former 205 champion and has wins over some really big, powerful guys. I think Mark Hunt is on his resume.
Can you believe that Gegard, by the way, is 49-7? 49-7.
Yeah, I mean, as far as middleweight resumes go, he's got to be in the top 5.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Anderson Silva.
So quickly, just really quickly, back to Austin Vanderford, a.k.a. Mr. Van Zandt. What is his ceiling now? Do you think he can ever be champ, or what do you think?
I mean, in Bellator, after a guy like Gegard Mousasi leaves and he's fighting the Logan Storleys of the world or whoever, yeah, I'm sure he could potentially have an opportunity to hold a belt. He's young enough to develop more, but, I don't know based on that performance if he's, who he said he was.
Yeah. By the way,
I think he might be more social media darling than elite MMA fighter based on the fact that, what's he, 27 years old. He has an opportunity to fight an absolute legend, start a championship run, and he laid an absolute egg.
guys, I'm getting the impression that Fight Geek is not an Austin Vanderford fan.
No, I think I've spoken favorably.
He hasn't even lost, and this was his first loss. He was 11-0.
He curled up in a ball after a minute and conceded his title opportunity.
He missed Paige Van Zandt's G-string butt. It's fine.
Michael Bisping fought GSP with one eye.
If I was married to Paige Van Zandt, I'd probably shell up too. I'd shell up too if I was married to Paige Van Zandt.
I know you'd shell up, period. But,
Are we gonna have to do a
Holly
pay-per-view,
Holm
bro?
guy.
Are me and you gonna have to do a
Punches,
pay-per-view where we
trying to
fight?
punch out
We
the
might
silver
have to,
belt.
bro.
Yeah, you get an opportunity like that. Come on.
You're being very harsh. I mean, it's fine, but you're being very harsh.
You couldn't last to the second round in your title fight.
I mean, does he last to the
succeed
second
in
round with Paige? I mean, probably not. Let's be honest.
All right, whatever. All right, so that's how I feel about that.
I am
love
so
Gegard,
under
but yeah,
I am so out of
underwhelming.
pocket. What is going on? Okay. Anything else we wanted to discuss on this card? I was gonna say shout out to Liam McCourt, who did lose to Sinead Kavanaugh. Unfortunately, Liam McCourt is a gorgeous and very talented fighter who answered several of my questions on a Twitter Spaces. So I appreciate.
Yeah, her arm is made out of rubber. Also.
Yes, that's also true. Unfortunately.
I was just wincing. I thought that thing was gonna break multiple times in that first round.
Yeah, that wasn't. I'm gonna be completely honest, Fight Geek. That was not some of the more impressive grappling I've seen.
I think
that was some lazy
Okay,
Kimura stuff going on.
Can we get to the heart of or meat on the bone here with UFC 272 or what?
I think it's time to move on to our preview and picks of UFC 272.
Let's go. start from the bottom and let's just hit them all. Let's go.
All right. So, yeah, let's do that.
Dustin Jacoby.
Yeah, you're gonna have to start us off. I'm having a slight. The computer's frozen for a moment, to be completely honest. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay, so Dustin Jacoby, and I'm gonna butcher this last name. Michael Oleksichuk.
Oh, Alexachuk. Oh, we're really gonna do every single fight. Okay.
Be quick. Who you got?
I'll tell you who I've got. I've got Dustin Jacoby via stoppage. Second round.
Boo, I got the same thing. Taking Dustin Jacoby there. He's looked really good lately. All right, Ludovic Klein versus Devontae Smith. This is
a lightweight bout.
Under the radar, great fight.
Yo, I've got Devontae Smith via unanimous decision.
I've got Ludovic Klein via unanimous decision.
Ooh, all right, moving on. Flyweight bout. Tigger Ulanbekov, 13-1, versus Tim Elliott, 17-12-1. Who you got?
Well, I just cannot formally pick Tim Elliott anymore, so I'm going with Tagir here, just because he's not Tim Elliott.
Annoyingly, I also have Tagir via decision.
I picked Tim Elliott like 5 times in my life. He's 0-5, so I'm done with Tim Elliott.
All right, next, Umar Nurmagomedov, 13-0 versus 24-12 Brian Kelleher. I've got Umar via second round submission.
I like that pick. I think Kelleher can make it interesting, but Umar is looking like, the real deal as well. Expect him to get the stoppage here.
Okay, next fight is a flyweight bout, 125. We've got 10-3 Marina Moroz versus 10-2 Maria Agapova. I'm taking Agapova.
Yeah, this is a big feud, right? Didn't Agapova call out Moroz for some comments she had made about her last fight, and this is like a big.
I believe there's a bit of a personal story here. I've got Agapova by second round stoppage, by the way.
I've got Agapova by first round stoppage here.
Wow.
I've been impressed by her. I think she'll be hyper aggressive and emotional in this fight, and I just think she's better than Moroz personally.
All right, fair enough. So next we've got Nick Negemeranu. Damn, that is a hard last name. 11-1 versus 9-2 Kennedy Nchukwu. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to take Kennedy Nchukwu and his 83-inch reach. I just think physically he has a lot of advantages here, and if he can put it all together, he's a guy who has immense talent. He's got a win over Darko Stosic and Carlos Ulberg. So, I think Kennedy gets this one done.
Oh, I hate agreeing. I've got Kennedy. Give me Kennedy. All right, moving on. We've got a 115 strawweight bout, Marina Rodriguez versus Yan Xiaonan. Give me Marina Rodriguez via unanimous decision.
Hate to agree with you, and it's probably pretty boring, but definitely taking Marina Rodriguez by decision. She's the longer fighter. I think, she's got the momentum working in her favor here.
All right, moving on to the prelim main event. That's 11-5 Jalen Turner at lightweight, taking on fellow lightweight Jamie Malarkey, 14-4, and I've got Jamie Malarkey winning this by stoppage.
I have actually Jalen Turner winning this by stoppage.
Ooh, all right. A little bit of fun here. Okay.
The tarantula, I believe.
Absolutely. Moving on to the main card. We've got to start off this card, a fun heavyweight fight. 13-3 Sergey Spivak versus 7-4 Greg Hardy. Fikey, who you got?
I'm going to go with Sergey Spivak here. I just think that Greg Hardy, coming off his first KO loss of his career, probably will be a little bit more tentative than we've seen him in the past. And the fact that he's not really a real fighter, if he's tentative, he doesn't really have much else to offer. So I think Spivak wins this one.
I have to agree. I think Spivak's going to get a unanimous decision victory. All right, moving on. We've got a welterweight bout, 170 welterweight bout. 21-7 Kevin Holland taking on 22-11-1 Alex Cowboy Oliveira.
I love this fight.
What
This
an
fight should
underrated
be
fight!
absolute
What an underrated
madness.
fight, right?
No, it's wacky. This is the wackiest fight you could have made.
Yep, totally agree. How do you see it
So
going?
I think Kevin Holland probably ends up submitting Alex Oliveira.
I tend to agree with you.
I think probably third round after back and forth.
It's going to be a fun
knocker.
fight. It's going to be a great fight.
Both guys are gonna hurt each other. I think Kevin is the younger, more vital fighter, and I think Cowboy will slow down late and get caught in a submission.
All right. I tend to agree, by the way. Okay, moving on. We've got the third to last fight. Edson Barboza versus Bryce Mitchell. Edson Barboza 22-10. Bryce Mitchell 14-0. There's bad blood here. Barboza saying that Bryce Mitchell's the first fighter he's ever called out, and he really wants to hurt him. How do you see this going?
This is an interesting fight, and I actually think Bryce Mitchell's going to submit Edson Barboza in the second round. I think that it's easy to pick Edson here, but Edson slows down quickly. I think Bryce Mitchell is gritty enough and tough enough to eat some shots, to get in close and get it to the ground. And when he gets it to the ground, we've seen that Barboza has huge issues on the ground, and versus a guy like Bryce Mitchell, he won't fare well for long.
Your pick is so difficult because, on the one hand, I think it's a very probable pick. On the other, I really have this personal hatred for Bryce Mitchell. It's very strong, particularly after...
That has nothing to do with the stylistic matchup.
I know. I just hate him so much. I want Edson to beat him so badly.
I'm not saying that's who I want to win.
I know. I get it. I know. No, we know. It's all about, I know. I'm just trying to, because I think Barboza has a chance. So, okay, long story short, I'm going with Barboza. I think it's a close fight.
He has a chance if he lands a high kick or something powerful early, but, Bryce Mitchell's, I think he's a pretty tough SOB.
This is what I think. I think it's going to be Bryce's fight very early on. Absolutely. I think Bryce is going to dominate, win the first round, no problem. The question is, how's he going to handle Edson Barboza's kicks constantly? And I think Barboza will break him down.
See, I think the opposite. Edson Barboza is not a guy that gets stronger as the fight goes on. He absolutely wears out. He's always been known for slowing down to the point where he can barely get off any explosive offense late in fights, especially if he's had to do any amount of defensive grappling.
Why are you annoying me with this Bryce Mitchell sell? I hate Bryce Mitchell. Okay.
Hey, just cover his face and just look at the 14-0 rest.
That's fair. No, Bryce is a great fighter, guys. Obviously, Bryce is he's undefeated. He's 14-0. I still think Edson's gonna eke it out, but we'll see. I could be totally wrong. Okay, moving on to the co-main event. 5-minute rounds. Fight Geek. Rafael Dos Anjos versus Renato Moicano. I think I'll take this one first. I think Rafael Dos Anjos is going to win a very dominant decision, 50-45.
That's lazy.
What do you mean that's lazy? It's a bold choice.
I mean, we just saw Moicano, who looks great in his last fight. His striking looked better than ever. He's 5 years younger than Rafi, doesn't have quite as many miles on him. With that said, I see Dos Anjos taking a much closer decision than you see. I see a split decision here.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you think it's going to be a great fight. That's good. Okay.
I do. I think Moicano's coming into his own at 155. And, I mean, to keep expecting Dos Anjos to be, an elite fighter after he's had 43 fights versus, essentially the last 30 fights of his career have been all tough. So I don't think you'll find a guy with a run quite like Dos Anjos. He's 37 now. At some point, I'm afraid he may fall off a cliff. I don't know if it's this weekend, but
I hear you. Okay, fair enough.
He's got a lot of mileage on him.
Fair enough. All right, so let's move on to the main event. Colby Chaos Covington, 16-3, taking on Jorge Gamebred Masvidal, 35-15. Number 2 versus number 8 in what we know is a bad blood feud. Obviously, these two ex-roommates are no longer friends, no longer BFFs. And Fight Geek, am I crazy for... I've been pretty outspoken on Twitter this week saying This is a garbage pay-per-view headliner. Covington will dominate. Why is this headlining a pay-per-view? Am I being disrespectful or crazy?
Well, I mean, yeah, you're a little obnoxious, but other than that,
well, no one was asking that.
A terrible headliner.
It is a terrible pay-per-view headliner.
It's
not even for a belt, and everyone knows Colby's gonna win, dude.
Who cares? It's two superstars of the sport, whether you want to admit it or not, who have a feud, very public feud. Colby Covington. I mean, this is the next fight up. What if you're not excited about this fight? I get it. To me, this is an 8 or maybe a 9. It's not the greatest main event for a pay-per-view ever, but if you really can't find any interest in this, then you're just being, too cool for school. Honestly.
Wait. On a serious note, Fight Geek, why do you say that? Because I'm saying I don't see it being competitive because Colby's just going to wrestle him.
Well, I mean, I think Colby will have something to prove. I think Colby feels like he could probably out-volume Jorge.
Are you picking Jorge to win this fight? Is that what you're saying?
No, of course not.
Okay, so what are you trying to argue? Decision. Oh, this is such a great fight. What are you talking about?
That's not such a great fight, but it's still competitive. It's not like Jorge has zero chance.
I mean, I kind of feel like he has zero chance.
Well, he's still a pretty hard cracker, pretty good hitter, so he can
Yeah, but Colby's got an excellent chin.
Well, he does, but if he catches a flying knee, who knows?
All right, I think you're a little bit more excited for it than I am.
I'm really not that excited. I just think that going all hipster and saying it's the worst pay-per-view headliner of all time is a little hilarious.
It's not the worst. You're putting words in my mouth. I didn't say it was the worst one ever.
Oh, you didn't?
I mean, I'm trying to think of a worse one. Oh, okay. What about Holly Holm versus Jermaine Durand? To me, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's significantly worse.
Okay, all right.
This is a legitimate grudge match. This is what the whole sport is built upon. This is Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz. This is a new rendition of it. Like, this is what the sport is. You don't like this fight? Get out of here.
All right. Okay, all right. So with that, can we take a quick break and get back with listener questions?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. Hey guys, it's Phil the MMA Dude letting you know that this episode of the Split Decision Podcast is brought to you by TotalAggressionClothing.com. Visit www.TotalAggressionClothing.com and use the promo code 46210 to receive a special Split Podcast discount on all Total Aggression hats, shirts, hoodies, and more. Again, that's www.TotalAggressionClothing.com with promo code 46210. Hey guys, it's Phil the MMA Dude back with the Split Decision Podcast, episode number 126, and it is now time for my favorite section of all, and that is Listener Questions. All right, thank you.
All right.
I put some effort into that. Okay, so let's start off with Zanbando's second question. Again, that's at Zanbando99. He says, what is the best 3-leg parlay that will surely cash this weekend? #AskSplitPod. Boy, do I love this. Okay, so if I can start this off, I'm going to say Colby Covington, Rafael Dos Anjos, and then it gets fun. Then it gets a little hard. But I'm going to go with Marina Rodriguez defeating Yan Xiaonan. What do you think of that three-leg parlay right there?
See, I think you're taking a few risks there, honestly. You
could replace Marina with Umar Nurmagomedov versus Brian Kelleher.
Okay, I like that better. So Colby, Umar, and let me just look over it one more time.
Colby, Umar, and RDA over Moicano.
Absolutely not. I would not pick that one.
You're so crazy thinking that Moicano's going to do something, man. You're so crazy.
And Agapova.
Oh, yeah. That's... That's a good one. I'm not gonna lie.
Ludwig Klein, another one.
Which one? Oh,
Klein.
Ludwig Klein versus Devontae Smith?
I like Klein a lot in that one.
You really, wow, you think Devontae Smith is done, huh?
I like Devontae Smith. I just think that Klein is a much more, I don't know, diverse fighter.
Okay,
maybe.
so what if I say, okay, I think for my final answer, Zan, because we got to give a final answer. Umar Nurmagomedov over Brian Kelleher is number one. Number two is going to be Colby Covington defeating Jorge Masvidal.
And 3 is Agapova.
And 3 is either Agapova, RDA, or Umar Nurmagomedov. I think Umar's an underrated number 3.
So they may not make the most money, but
True.
should be sure. All right, good question, Zane. Thanks.
Yeah, love that one. Okay, do you have a question?
Sure. I got one queued up from Eduardo at Landa Crew.
Eduardo, what up?
He says, what are the chances we see Cyborg versus Kayla Harrison in 2022, and in what organization do you think it will happen? Ask Split Pod. I do believe PFL matched Kayla Harris's contract, thus bringing her back. So I don't think we'll see that fight this year. I think, if we see that fight, it'll be sometime in 2023. At that point, Cyborg will be another year older, a couple more fights under her belt, and I just, don't see it as big of a fight.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it, I thought it was my understanding, at least, that Bellator made a big offer for Kayla, and then PFL matched it, and because PFL matched the offer, I think Kayla has to go and sign with the PFL.
It's called matching rights, where you can basically keep someone.
So I don't know why you're talking about her fighting Cyborg at all. She's never going to fight Cyborg. What are you talking about?
Well, what I'm saying is she just re-upped for another year, so she's not going to be there now. So next year around this time, I'm sure she'll be renegotiating. At that point, I would imagine, she negotiated this time to not have the same thing happen next year. So what I'm saying is eventually she's going to fight Cyborg. It's clear that she wants to. And, Scott Coker has done cross-promotional stuff in the past. They may be able to do a one-off. I just don't think it'll be this year.
Okay, very fair, very fair. And I tend to agree with that. Okay, all right. So we ready for the next question? I've got one lined up.
Yep.
This is from my main man, MMA by Milliken. That's at MMA by Milliken. Love this guy. He says, 1, should Chris Cyborg go to the PFL when her contract is up and collect yet another belt? 2, should I ankle pick Demetrius Johnson and stop him from this madness of facing Rod Tang in a hybrid MMA Muay Thai fight? Hashtag AskSplitPod. Love it. First of all, Fight Geek, first question. Should Cyborg go to PFL when her contract is up?
No, because there's only $1 million fighter there, and it's probably going to be Kayla Harrison.
It's Kayla Harrison, of course.
Yeah, and I think that Cyborg probably makes $1 million beating Sinead Kavanaugh twice a year. So I think that's probably the better gig.
Okay, but I mean, for the fans' sake, come on, we want to see Cyborg.
For the fans' sake, if that's not the question, should Chris Cyborg go to PFL and lose to Kayla Harrison? No, she should keep beating up girls that have zero opportunity to beat her in Bellator until she retires with even a more robust legacy. That's
our listeners. Can you imagine how grumpy Fight Geek will be when he's like in his 70s? Can you imagine that? It's going to be some wild shit. Okay, all right. Anyways.
We'll still be here on episode 1000.
Yeah, exactly. To more like episode 2000 or 3000. Okay, so should Milliken ankle pick Demetrius Johnson to stop him from facing Rod Tang in a hybrid MMA Muay Thai fight? I don't know if you saw that, but
but because
I feel like Rod Tang is gonna fuck him up, to be honest.
Well, 100%, but at least Demetrius Johnson is a good enough athlete and a seasoned enough fighter to defend himself somewhat. And if he wants to experience
Rod Tang's tough as hell, man. I think he's gonna
Yes, I'm aware, Phil. But this isn't Demetrius Johnson thinking he's gonna become a Muay Thai champion. This is him doing a bucket list fight.
I'm just saying. I think a lot of people are underestimating Rod Tang's chances here.
What do you mean underestimating?
Well, because they're saying,
chances?
oh, well, there's 2 MMA rounds in it, so, Johnson will submit him. I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
It'll be interesting, but like I said, this is Demetrius Johnson having a bucket list event. This is why he wanted to leave the UFC. He wanted to do things a little bit different. DJ has always been a little outside of the box. So, no, I think let him do what he wants. If this is what entertains him and gets him up competitively, Rod Tang's super dangerous and scary. So, yeah, let's see it.
Okay. All right. I think that's fair.
Yes, this isn't a 28-year-old DJ holding a belt up in a division. This is a older guy looking for ways to keep himself engaged in his MMA slash, whatever career.
Yep, absolutely. Fair enough. Okay, next question comes from our man, Eric Bukert. That's at ATANAK74. Love his profile picture. I stand with Ukraine. Love it. He says, so Bryce Mitchell received the Real Tree camel shorts he was asking for. What's the next style of personalized shorts you guys would want to see the UFC allow? Should fighters be granted a section of their shorts to display sponsorship deals? #AskSplitPod.
I don't know if they should be able to display sponsorship deals, but I definitely think like this version for Bryce Mitchell, they should be able to have like a skin or a styled background. For instance, let Sean O'Malley have marijuana leaves made into his, or let...
Yep. I think that's the answer. No, I think you just answered
Oh, that is the answer for sure.
What's the next one that we want to see?
But what if you had, Amanda Nunes, she had like the lion face built into her shorts or something like that. So I think there's a lot of answers, but Sean O'Malley with the weed shorts, I think, is the for sure. Or maybe even like tie-dye.
Yep.
If weed's too aggressive for them, you could do tie-dye for Sean. And what else do we got? You could let Connor's shorts could be whiskey looking.
All right, that might be a little corny. Even for 2022 Connor might be a little too corny. But
right.
Yeah, who knows?
But okay. I think for some people like Bryce Mitchell, Sean O'Malley, if you have a really distinct personality, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to put a little personality to it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, all right. Next question comes from our man, the MMA philosopher. That's at SmartDan51. He says, I don't like this pay-per-view. I don't think it's worth $75. So I'd like each of you to make a pay-per-view main that you think would be epic. 2 rules. It can't contain any fights currently booked. And secondly, injuries are not a factor. So assume fighters like Francis and Zabit are healthy. So it sounds, is he asking for a main event or for a main card?
I guess we'll just do a main card. I mean,
that makes it harder. But okay.
Pay-per-view main event that I want to see is John Jones Stipe or John Jones Francis. Those are no-brainers in my opinion, right?
All right. Well, I don't want to give you your answer. No,
okay,
you
John
make yours and then I'll
Francis
give mine.
Heavyweight is my pay-per-view main that would be epic. Then
wait, what's your main event? You got to name 2
Francis
fighters.
versus John Jones.
God damn it, that's mine.
Fine, I'll go John Jones versus Stipe so we can build different cards.
Okay, fine.
And then I would go Figgy versus Moreno 4 as the co-main.
Are you kidding me? Oh my god. Can I just say out loud, guys? I've seen them fight 3 times. I'm so over it, man. I know that's unpopular. Everyone's going to get mad. I don't care.
Yeah. So that would be my co-main. Okay, right. And then let's just toss in Wei Li versus Joanna 2. And then...
That's not a title fight.
No, but it's the 3rd fight down on my pay-per-view.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
And then we got to throw a Legends fight in there. How about... what do we got here? Well, now I kind of pigeonholed myself because I can't put any more title fights on there.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Here, let me go.
All right.
And we'll see who kind of has the better one. Okay, so I would start it off with Ngannou versus Jones. And then I'd follow that with Usman versus the winner of Burns versus Khamzat Chimaev. So possibly Usman Chimaev, possibly Usman Burns 2 is the second fight down. Third fight down would be Valentina Shevchenko versus Talia Santos. So that'd be a third title fight. And then
Isn't that fight booked?
Oh.
I think they just booked that fight this week.
All right, yeah, you might be right. Okay, so get rid of that one. All right, so third fight down would be Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza 2. Third title fight. Then below that, we would have Wiley versus Joanna 2. And then below that, we would have, to round out the main event, we would have Lionheart Smith versus Alexander Rakic 2. Ba-bang!
I would have Cody Garbrandt versus Dominic Cruz 2.
Oh, come on. That is so mean to Cody. Come on, man. He can't even win. He can't win anything these days. Don't be so mean.
Well, he'd be fighting a 40-year-old Dominic Cruz with no punching power. That'd be his best chance in the world.
Okay, that's kind of a good point, to be honest. All right, do we have anything else? Do we have any other questions left?
No, I think that does it for tonight.
All right. Okay, so Fight Geek, take us away, baby.
All right, guys. As usual, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher, and more. I'm at the Fight Geek MMA. He's at Phil the MMA Dude. We're at Split_Podcast. It's 4 words. The Split Decision Podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you next week. Peace.
Peace.